Welcome to Ole Miss Strength and Conditioning Weight Room. My name's Ossenheimer. You're spending a lot of time in this weight room together. We spend more time together than you and the coaching staff. A really unique thing about Ole Miss in this weight room is a lot of these strength coaches here only have two teams that they work with, which is really different from a lot of the other schools. Okay, so for example, I only work with volleyball and women's tennis. Everything under the performance umbrella is going to fall under my responsibility. So anything from warm-ups, the strength training, the conditioning, recovery, traveling aspects, taking care of your body in a performance way, that stuff falls under my umbrella. I'm going to be with you all the time. It's important that we have a good relationship together because we spend a lot of time together. Anytime we travel, as soon as we get off the plane, we typically do a 30-minute rejuvenation session, get you flushed out, get ready for practice, and then take you on a cool down and recovery session when we're done practice when we travel. Those are just some of the examples of things that you get when you come to Ole Miss from a strength and conditioning standpoint. From the weight room standpoint, we typically train 4 days a week. We're looking for starting in the January session. That's our winter break, our winter training session. And we're going to go for about an hour and a half. Big thing for us is the conditioning component of it. Coming in and being from a cardiovascular standpoint is really important for us. From a lifting standpoint, we like to take a slow cooking process. We like to think that we have 4 years, possibly 5, and we're going to take our time. And so in order to do that, we divvy out our athletes into different training groups. Okay, so for example, with volleyball, we have 3 groups. We have a white level group, which is our freshmen incoming transfers. Okay, these are the athletes that are going to come in, and we're doing a lot of body weight work. We're learning how to control our body. Things that are important to us are push-ups, chin-ups, handstand holds. Gymnastics is a big component of our training here. Once you are able to master these fundamental movements, we're going to move into the blue group. Okay, those are going to be your big, strong kids, or kids that are going to need to get stronger, and they're going to start lifting some heavier weights. Things are going to be a little bit different when you get into that group. Typically, these kids are going to be in there for a year or two, depending on their strength levels when they get there. And then finally, the last group is going to be the red group, and that's our velocity-based training. And so we hook up this little piece of equipment called a Tendo unit, and we measure everything on speed. All right, so it's meters per second, so we're measuring your bar speed, how high you jump, you're running. Everything that you do is measured, and there's decades of information and research showing that if we train within a very specific speed zone, we can create a very certain adaptation. So what we're doing is starting to set you up for success, right? Long-term success. So take our time in year 1, teach you everything, get all the tools in the toolbox, get you to learn how to move correctly, start loading you up. Once you get strong, start working on velocity and transitioning that stuff into power. And so we do this year round. So, kids will move based on their needs and what we feel like where they're at. For me, I think it's a really big reason why we haven't had an injury now for 3 years. We haven't had a single kid miss a practice, haven't had them miss a game, haven't had to take any time off. And I think it's a big reason is because we take our time and we do things the right way here. I think another big reason why we haven't had any injuries is because of the vert technology that we use here. We're one of the first schools in the country to incorporate this into our program. And so Coach McRoberts and the rest of that coaching staff and myself, we meet on a weekly basis. When we're in season, we meet on a daily basis. And so what we're measuring is your maximum vertical for the day, your average vertical for the day, and the amount of jumps that you have throughout that practice. And then there's a few metrics that I look at myself, such as intensity, the energy expenditure, your landing impacts, things that can impact your performance. But Heather and I, myself, will sit down and we'll look at some different things and some red flags pop up. But from a jump standpoint, so what we've done is create standards for each position specifically. Okay, so our middle blockers are going to jump so many times in a practice, outside hitters, setters. And then our DSs and our liberos, we're looking at energy expenditure, how efficient are you in your movements. We're looking at the intensity levels during practice time. Okay, so what we've done is if you think of like a baseball pitcher, they throw so many times leading up to a match or a game, right? So they throw their bullpen, and if they're a Friday night starter, they're going to throw so many times Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday leading up to that Friday to make them feel most optimal. So that's what we've created here in the last 4 years, and also partnering with other schools through VERT. We've been able to create these general guidelines And so what we're doing is just looking at your maximum vertical. Are you getting better throughout the year? Are you jumping your highest on game day, which is what we're looking for? The vertical jump is an amazing proponent to tell us how your central nervous system is firing. If your vertical jump starts dropping down low a few inches for a few days in a row, that's going to give us an immediate red flag that something's going on. You're either just being overworked, you're overstressed, you're not recovering as well as we want to. All right, so that just gives us an immediate red flag to not shut you down, but maybe we start cutting your jumps down a little bit, and you're going to start seeing Heather a little bit more to get myofascial releases on. Massages. We might put you in the hot tub, cold tub, do some contrast baths. We're going to do something, though, to get you to rebound as quickly as possible. Bring in our dietitian. She'll start looking over what you're eating and try to help you recover quicker. That way to get you back to feeling normal and be more optimal on game days. That's really important to us. Having these little things and just overlooking all these little aspects is a really big deal, I think. It's a really big reason why we don't have injuries. And to me, that's a big difference why we won the NIT, I think, last year. We're beating teams. We only lost one set through the whole postseason because we were just healthier, more aggressive, more physical than other teams. And it showed. I mean, you lose one set in 5 matches in postseason play is a pretty big deal, especially for a program that doesn't have a huge history of that. And things are starting to turn around, and you'll see that. Most of our kids come back July 4th for the summertime. Just talking about if you're a freshman coming in, what's that like? So our freshmen, when they come in, they run with the team in the morning, and then they lift in the afternoon on a separate time. So during that time, during the summer, we're just trying to teach you everything we can to get you ready for the season, to get your capacity up, make sure you can do a lot of work in a little bit of time, because that's kind of what fall camp is. The coaches like to run 2-3 practices a day. Just need to make sure you're prepared for that physically. And from a mental standpoint, it helps out too, getting up early, go to class for a little bit, come back, get another training session in. You're just kind of getting into this routine of longer days than maybe what you're used to. And that's kind of what the season's like at the college level. The weight room, this weight room is really special because there's only 7 teams in it. This is predominantly a female weight room, to the exception of men's tennis. You've got softball, rifle, volleyball, women's soccer, women's tennis, men's tennis. And so you can see how big this weight room is. When teams come in here, they get the weight room to themselves. So they put on whatever music they want to put on. We like to have a good time in here. I don't mind kids dancing around and having fun, and as long as we're also working. I think we do a really good job of walking that fine line. I think that's why kids like training when they're here at Ole Miss, is because this isn't some kind of military institute where the music's off and we're just yelling and barking, but it's just about having fun in here too, because you're coming in here early in the morning. You want to have a good time. Okay, you want to come in here and put some jams on, and we're going to lift hard, and you're going to be with your friends and your teammates, and you're going to be moving around, and it's a good environment because everyone gets their own block here. Every team has their own block, and we can get a lot of stuff done in this weight room when it's just volleyball in here, when it's just softball, it's just soccer. We get a lot of things done, a lot of work, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good environment. And that's what a lot of people, when they come in, they see us train. That's one of the first things they talk about, is them smiling, having fun. That's not the first thing you think of when you think of strength and conditioning, but that's what we try to do, is just have a good time here. Last thing is just, the end season, what that looks like. And, we typically train twice a week. Right after practice. It's real quick, it's 30, 45 minutes. We're just trying to complement your volleyball-specific practices. So our training in the weight room is really dictated around what practice looks like. So a lot of jumping, really intense practice, keep it really low intensity in the weight room. We just try to complement the two, and we try to train year-round. So out of 52 weeks, we're looking at training together about 46, 45 weeks. It's a lot of time together, like I said. There's a lot of time spent between you and I, and I think a lot of people enjoy it, and I think that's what Ole Miss is all about.